Bonjour, c'est le Léger Canadien, and welcome back to the Pictures Chatter, where this week it's trade deadline week. It has passed us by, and it's time to finally fucking talk about it. But before we get to the trades, we need to say goodbye to a few people. The first one, and most notably, Vin Scully. If you don't know who Vin Scully was, he was the legendary commentator for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I think he retired in 2014 at the age of 94. The Lord up in the sky has taken us from him, has decided to take him up to the pearly gates to call baseball games up in heaven. This is the biggest loss in baseball in the past little while. Because to really give you a standard of how good this guy was, you you can't even describe it. Because his work was indescribable. It was some of the best work a commentator has ever done in their professional career. Hell, there's even an award that goes to commentators for their performances at the end of the season, named the Vin Scully Award, because that's how good this guy was. He retired in 2014, stepped away from the booth for the final time, and it sucks to lose. It sucks to lose one of the most iconic voices of the game. I said this in QB Huddle session yesterday that he also called some football games for the NFL, most notably the 1982 Super Bowl. But he was the mainstay in baseball. And one cannot imagine. No, I'm sorry. I got it wrong. He retired in 2016, so I apologize for that. He began calling games in 1950. 67 seasons of duty behind the mic calling games for the Dodgers. The entire time. He never once changed teams. He stuck with the Dodgers all the way through. Then may you rest in peace, you beautiful, beautiful legend. May you rest in peace, and may you continue to call games in the sky. You beautiful, beautiful bastard. So, all right, take a minute. We're going to do a moment of silence for the late, great Vin Scully. Thank you. And from one death in the baseball world to another, this one involving the Diamondbacks. It's being reported that the wife of Diamondbacks general manager Mike Hazen, Nicole, has unexpectedly passed away, leaving behind her husband, obviously the general manager of the Diamondbacks, their 4 sons, and their extended family. A statement was put out by the team that says, and I quote, Nicole lived her life and loved her family with fierceness and devotion. She spent every day in the service of others as a mother, wife, and educator, advocating for goodness. From our family, we remain forever grateful for the love, support, and random acts of kindness bestowed upon us for the last 2 years and 4 months. We would not have been able to walk down this road with her without the help and generosity of our community. Glioblastoma slowly took her capacity to speak, walk, talk, and lead, but never took her capacity to love her children, family, and friends. We are lost without her, but will carry the torch of her unyielding empathy for everyone forward from this day onward. So to Mike, to the 4 Hazen brothers, I want to send you my condolences on the loss of Miss Nicole for your mother and anyone that was impacted by her loss. Rest in peace. It's a shitty way to begin the baseball vid for the week, but we gotta, what we gotta work with. But it's time to talk about the trade deadline. How this is gonna work? We're gonna work through each individual. We're gonna work for each individual trade, and we're gonna grade it on a scale of 1 to 10. That's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it like that. So here we go. We're starting from the end point of last week's video, July 29th. Because at the time when the video was recorded, the trade was announced and I could not change that. So we're going to start there. So here we go. On July 29th, the sole trade was between the Mariners and the Reds, and where Lee Castillo was traded to the Mariners in exchange for shortstop Noelvi Marte, shortstop Edwin Arroyo, right-handed pitcher Levy Stout, and right-handed pitcher Andrew Moore. For the Mariners, I'm going to grade this trade at an 8. You got yourselves a legitimate arm in that starting rotation that you need to really work with. But for the Reds, futures wise, I'm gonna give you a 9. Why am I doing that? Because you got great futures. Because these are some of the best prospects in the Mariners system. I shit you not. I shit you fucking not. So with that, the overall grade is an 8.5. Because both teams walked out of here basically accomplishing what they needed to do. So good on them. On July 30th, we have 3 different trades. And it's only going to get worse from here. Starting with between the Rays and the Diamondbacks. I'm sorry. The Rays acquiring outfielder David Peralta for catcher Christian Serta. In terms of the Rays, looking like they're trying to bulk up for another playoff run, Peralta is one of the best I really think I'm going to have to give him a 7 here. Because, sure, you got David Peralta. He's one of the better outfielders in the league, but he's not what you guys could have gotten. The only reason that I think you went with him was because the prices for some of the other outfielders were a little too high. And what you got from Arizona is not terrible. Okay, it's not terrible. No, and that's a good thing because I legitimately think that it worked out for them. For the Diamondbacks, I'm gonna give them a 4 because I'm not like the biggest baseball enthusiast in the world. No, I don't know much about baseball, but I tried to give my best and honest opinion about it. Um, Basically, if Soto works out, maybe I'll give him a higher grade in the future. But for right now, it's where it stands. The next trade involves the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs, being Chris Martin versus Zach McKinstry. 1-for-1. Um. Okay, Dodgers, you added a solid arm to your bullpen, I believe. I think he's a reliever. But hey, I really feel like you've allowed Sotos to grab a good picture. So I'm going to give you a 7. And for the Cubs, I'm also going to give you a 7. Because of the talent that McKinstry has as well, I think he's decent. And he does have some upside left in the tank. Okay, you can completely disagree with me on these ratings. You can do whatever you want. But those are what I'm sticking to. And then finally, Edmundo Sosa going to the Phillies from the Cardinals in exchange for pitcher Jojo Romero. For the Phillies, they've really just secured their infield by getting that middle guy in second base. I'm gonna give him a 6.5. Primarily just because the fact that he's talented, he has upside, but we need to see more out of him in order to really establish anything. Same thing with Romero. That's why I'm going with the same grade. Because we need to see more of him to make sure that we have a qualified opinion on the subject. So for right now, the grades stand. I'm gonna skip over a bunch of these trades because a lot of them are minor. But we got this one here between the Padres and the Brewers. Josh Hader is going to the Padres for pitchers Taylor Rogers, Dinelson LeMay, Robert Gasser, and outfielder Esteury Ruiz. The Padres killed it here. Sure, they had to give up a few prospects to get a notable arm for their starting rotation, but it looks good. They solidified that starting rotation by acquiring Josh Hader. All day, this is a 9. All day. If the Brewers were trying to acquire futures, then this is also a 9 for them because they got some good futures that they can use either in their rotation or bullpen, depending on where they are, and it just looks good for them. Moving on, Yankees and Athletics, with the Athletics sending Frankie Montas and Luke Trevino to the Yanks in exchange for JP Sears, Ken Walichuk, Luis Medina, and Cooper Bowman. Like I said, I hate to say it because I'm a Jays fan. The Yankees actually killed it. They actually got another good, legitimate arm for their starting rotation in Frankie Montas. And Luke Trevino's a good bullpen arm, so why not add on to that solidification? If anything, this was just proving that the Yankees wanted to better their pitching, and they got it done. I'm going to give them an 8. For the Athletics, all they really did was just acquire a bunch of futures, so they're honestly going to give you a 6 and just move on with it. That's really the best I can do. The best I can do. And I think that's fair. Sorry, check this out. Moving on, a three-way trade between the Astros, the Orioles. I almost said the Ravens. The Orioles and the Rays. The Astros acquired Trey Mancini and right-handed pitcher Jaden Murray. The Orioles acquired pitcher Seth Johnson and pitcher Chase McDermott. And the Rays just acquired outfielder Jose Siri. Thank God I don't have an iPhone because my Siri would have gone off by now. But I think Houston won this trade out of anybody. They got a good two-way player that can play both in and outfield in a situation where, okay, so here is what we're looking at. We're looking at the Astros trying to make sure that they're still contenders and also trying to get themselves a World Series that's not tainted 2017. The Orioles really just got futures. And the Rays, I don't know what the Rays are doing in this trade. I guess they were just there. So with that, I was going to give the overall trade a 7. And a trade that we don't even know what the other team got. The Red Sox traded catcher Christian Vasquez to the Astros. And then we don't know what the Red Sox got. We don't know what they got out of the trade. Same thing with the other trade they made with Cincinnati, where the Red Sox acquired outfielder Tommy Pham, and we don't know what the Rays got. So if anything, I don't know what in the blue blazing fuck happened. Maybe we just were not told the returns. So I cannot grade them because of just one player going to one side and we don't know what happened with the other side. If we knew more, then maybe. Just gonna take a sip of my soda because it's gonna be a little while. All right. Jose Quintana and Chris Stratton going to the Cardinals, and Johan Oviedo and Malcolm Nunez going to the Pirates. Now, call me crazy here, but the Cardinals, I think, got a good trade out of this. Quintana is a solid pitcher, and they needed pitching. Because let's be honest, they needed it. I'm not saying that the pitchers they got now are bad. They're good, but they needed more. And I think here they just did good. And moving on to the other trade, where what in the fuck happened here? The Braves acquired Jake Odorizzi from the Astros for pitcher Will Smith. Okay, I know how to play it. Odorizzi's a good pitcher. So is a Will Smith. Maybe they just needed to change the scenery. It's really all I can really get out of it. And now we're getting on to the bigger trades. Juan Soto and Josh Bell both going to the Padres in exchange for Mackenzie Gore, Robert Hassel III, C.J. Abrams, James Wood, and Yarlin Susana. Jesus Christ! I know that the Nationals are starting to go back down after the World Series win a couple years ago, and allegedly Eric Hosmer was a part of his trade, but he would not waive his clause, so they did the trade. Oh, and basically just avoided him. They took him out and just replaced him. The Padres just killed it here. I think they won the trade. Joey Gallo headed to the Dodgers for Clayton Beeter. Why the hell would the Dodgers want someone who couldn't even have a batting average past 100? Or Dodgers. Jay Groom going to the Padres in exchange for Eric Hosmer, Max Ferguson, and Corey Rosier going to the Red Sox. So he wouldn't wait for Washington, but he will wait for Boston, I guess. It's not terrible. I mean, Hosmer gets another chance to be at a possibly contending team, if they can get their heads out of their asses. But in saying that, he needs to step up a little more. Because the Red Sox are struggling a little bit. And they need all the help that they can get. Moving on, Tyler Mahle going to the Twins for Spencer Steer, Christian Encarnacion Strand, and Steve Hajar. But I just like it. The Twins needed another, I've said this a lot because a lot of pitchers are being traded. The Twins got a reliable arm that they can rely on, and hopefully this should be a good factor for them. Saying it will be, but it might. Moving on. Try to find a good one. Here we go. Noah Syndergaard leaving the Angels as he gets shipped off to the Phillies for Mickey Moniak and Jadiel Sanchez. I'll say it. The Phillies fucking killed it. They fucking killed it. They got a good pitcher. One of the better pitchers in the league, and they got him. So good on you. No complaints here. The Yankees acquiring center fielder Harrison Bader for pitcher Jordan Montgomery. Basically Montgomery going to the Cardinals. I guess it's just kind of like a fortification thing by the Yankees here because they really didn't need center fielders, but it's okay. It's okay. The Blue Jays acquiring Whit Merrifield from the Royals for Samad Taylor and Max Castillo. Now, I know I got a lot of shit for this one because, Jays fan. I got a lot of shit about this one because Merrifield wasn't vaccinated. Guess what? He got vaccinated and he played in last night's game. He drove in a run in the win over the Twins. He's vaccinated and he drove in a run in that 9-3 win over Minnesota. All I could say is, welcome to Toronto. In the final big trade of the day, of trade deadline day, because God, this episode's been going on for long enough. Raciel Iglesias is headed to the Braves, and in return, the Angels get Jesse Chavez and Tucker Davidson. The bigger piece out of those two congratulations, Atlanta. You improved one position throughout this entire trade deadline. Pitching. You needed it, I guess. So, I'm not angry about that. I can't because regardless of it, it's a good trade. And with it, the trade deadline has been covered. A lot has happened. A lot has fucking happened. Now, what do I rate this trade deadline day out of years past? Here is what I am thinking. I'm gonna give my opinion on it first. Also, before I do that, Austin Riley got extended by the Braves for 10 years at $212 million. 21.2 mil per season. For someone that is as really good as Austin Riley has been, This is a no-brainer to have him sign that contract. There is a no-brainer on that one. So that's a really good contract. Okay. Now, what do I think about the trade deadline? A lot of good names were moved. And at the same time, other than just like Jake Odorizzi's, the Juan Soto's, the Josh Bell, the Josh Hader, Frankie Montes. There were still players that a lot of people suspected were going to be traded, but did not. Well, Andrew Benintendi, we covered last week, he went to the Yankees, as I said. Like, there is still, like, players like Shohei Ohtani was the biggest name that was rumored to be traded, but wasn't. So that brings up the question, does he walk? Like, will he be allowed to walk in free agency, or will he be traded in the off season? Or they're just gonna work it out and try to figure it out. Like, I heard stuff about Mike Trout. Who's gonna take on that contract? Considering the fact that he's probably gonna have his career dwindling down. And all I can really say, I think it was an eventful trade deadline day, but there wasn't enough chaos around trade deadline day. Maybe to the hardcore baseball fan, it was like, oh my god, this is so crazy. But as a casual, there wasn't a lot to really hype about. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the I'm gonna give this trade deadline a B plus. Sure, a lot of names were moved, a lot of great names were moved, but not the amount that people were expecting. Could be higher, could be lower. But in the comments, tell me what you guys thought about it. I actually want to see a debate. Was this an eventful trade deadline day where a lot of stuff happened? Or was this one of the quieter ones as compared to years past? Let me know. But anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, leave a like. Comment down below what you guys want to see next. And if you have not done so already, subscribe and join the Illogical Nation. But until next time, guys, je serai là, je Canadien. Bonne nuit, bon weekend, et au revoir.